Hello and welcome to this channel about cryptocurrency education. Today I'd like to talk about what happens with Cardano staking rewards when the maximum supply is reached. Now, first of all, we're going to have a quick look at the Cardano price. Then we're going to talk about what is the maximum supply. And then we are going to talk about how long it may take for the maximum supply to be reached, because only then it really becomes relevant what actually happens with the rewards. So currently, today is the 19th of July. We're looking at the CoinMarketCap website, and we can see that everything's in the red again, unfortunately. I said in previous videos that my assumption was that we'll go down further, and we did, unfortunately, or fortunately, because fortunately in the sense that we now all get a better entry price if we decide to buy now. And I believe we will not be able to see these prices for a long time. To be honest, it might go down a little bit more. I think personally, and again, personally, some people won't like that. I think personally that the Bitcoin price will drop once more below 30,000 before we can see a sustainable uptrend again. That hasn't happened yet, but for weeks now it's getting closer to the 30,000. The more often the 30,000 are tested, the more realistic or probable it is that the Bitcoin price will drop below the 30,000. Now, if that happens, we all can assume that the Cardano price will also drop below $1. These are then really fantastic prices. In my opinion, I'm gonna buy them even more. I already said in my last video that Cardano is my biggest holding now, because I really, you could say I fell in love with the project, but yeah, Bitcoin always used to be my biggest holding, but now Cardano, with around 40% in my crypto portfolio, is my biggest holding, and I might actually extend that a little bit more. Right, so what happens actually with the Cardano rewards when the maximum supply is reached? So first of all, let's have a quick look. The current circulating supply is 32 billion ADA coins. The maximum of the ADA that will ever exist is 45 billion ADA. So there are still quite a few to be mined, to be distributed. And how are these distributed? Well, these are, for example, distributed through staking, because if people are staking, then they get rewards. Obviously you and me will delegate normally to a pool, and the pool will then do the staking. They will get the rewards, and these rewards will be distributed among all delegators. Now that means that there will always need to be some ADA coins available to be distributed as rewards. Now, theoretically, what will happen as soon as all 45 billion ADA coins are actually in circulation and people are staking them all? What actually happens? What happens with the rewards? Now, first of all, this article here talks about it will actually take some time until the 45 billion ADA coins are in circulation. They talk about, obviously Bitcoin is not expected to reach its cap until 2140. Cardano will not hit its cap for a long time either, due to the setup of staking rewards. Now, unfortunately, they don't get very specific in this article, but one more clue we can find here in this, there is this calculation or basically setup which basically determines in the Cardano mechanism that each epoch, which is 5 days, the protocol distributes 0.3% of the total reserve pool between all stakers. Now, the total reserve pool obviously shrinks and shrinks and shrinks, but the 0.3% always remain the same. That means as the pool shrinks, the 0.3%, well, the 0.3% stay the same, but actually the total ADA, they will be reduced. That means over time, less and less ADA will be distributed as rewards from the pool, right, from the reserve pool. But already today, the rewards are actually made up of the, basically the reserve pool rewards plus whatever comes in or is paid in transaction fees, right? And that will be in the future, obviously, always be there. So even though over time the reserve pool shrinks and less ADA are distributed as rewards from the pool, the more transactions are going to happen on the Cardano blockchain. We all know with the Alonso rollout and the mainnet rollout and the Alonso hard fork, more and more transactions will eventually be taking place on Cardano, unless really everybody is staking. But in theory, everybody will probably be, you know, people are going to use the apps, people are going to use the Cardano blockchain, and then transaction fees are going to increase. Yeah, well, not the fees are increasing, but the transactions are going to increase, which means the overall volume of fees which is coming in or which is paid, that is increasing, which means more and more rewards can actually be distributed from the staking fees. Yeah, so it's sort of a balance between whatever is distributed from the pool and from the transaction fees. As over time, the pool will get smaller, but yeah, more and more rewards are going to be paid out from the transaction fees, because even though the transaction fees might stay quite low, the transactions are going to increase. Now, of course, nobody knows that for certain, but it's of course highly, highly probable. And eventually, you know, looking at the 0.3%, I mean, the pool shrinks and shrinks and shrinks, and 0.3% always stays the same. That means over time, less and, you know, the pool will always shrink slower and slower and slower. So it will really, really take a long time until the maximum supply is reached. I found a calculation a long time ago in a Reddit post. I don't know if that was a correct one, but they talked about something like, well, it will at least take decades until the maximum supply is reached. I think the number that I saw was something like 35 to 45 years. Then I saw another article in which they talked about it could take over 100 years. Now, I don't think it will take 100, but in the end, you know, it will be something between several decades and 100 years. You know, I don't think it's a problem at the moment. And even then, you know, even if, let's just assume in 30 years, and we might still hopefully be alive, in 30 years the maximum supply is reached, then all the rewards will probably be taken from the transaction fees. And however, also then, you know, the voters, eligible voters in the Cardano network will always be able to vote and maybe change rewards, you know, maybe change transaction fees, whatever. I mean, that is the power of the blockchain, of the Cardano network, the decentralization, that the people actually participating and stabilizing the network will be able to have their say. And I am totally convinced that the majority of people in a democratic way will make a really, really good decision how to proceed. But I don't see it as a problem, because eventually, if this network really will work, which I believe it will, the transaction fees will take care of it. They will pay the rewards, which will then incentivize other people to stake their ADA, which obviously provides stabilization for the network, and everybody should then be happy, hopefully. All right, so hopefully that was clear enough. I hope you liked the video. If you did, then please smash the like button. And if you want to follow me on this crypto journey, then subscribe to the channel. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye.